Hi Zoe.
Hello.
So we just finished what we feel is the final session.
Yes.
So here we are in your car, both wearing our COVID masks, and we've just done a motorway journey. And it wasn't completely uneventful. There were some things that happened. So to begin with, could you just describe how did you arrive at actually doing the course?
I've been struggling with motorway driving for 8 years since a big panic attack on the motorway, and it's been something I've had some previous treatments for, and they worked for a while, and then they the panic returned, and it's been something I've been trying to manage with every distraction under the sun. Some of them worked better than others, but I realised that it was time for some help with it. I came very close. I think when I emailed you in February, I was really at breaking point. It was either do something or don't ever go on a motorway again, because it was really built to crunch time.
So it got as serious as that?
It was very, very close to never getting on a motorway at the wheel again.
How did you feel sending the email?
When I pressed send, it was relief, because it was kind of out of my hands, but I've had your details for over a year before ever. I kept looking at it and thinking, well, let's just see if I can manage it a bit longer. And then I looked at it again and thought, yes, but if I make any contact with you, I'm going to have to face the fear, even though I was already, because I was going on the motorway and having to face it every time I got on the motorway. There was something, facing it in a more formal, more threatening way, I guess. Yeah. So I sent send, and then COVID happened, and I thought, oh, brilliant.
Oh, we can't do it.
No lessons are happening. I don't need to go on the motorway at all. This is fantastic. Yeah. And then I got a reply from you just as things were reopening, and actually the timing of it was perfect, because I knew I had to go down and see my parents, which is on the motorway.
Okay. That's an interesting one. I don't think that's a question I've ever asked, you see. And it's a discussion we were kind of having as we were pulling up. I was saying to you that clients often have the details for months, if not years, and they keep picking up the phone and putting it back down and picking it back up again, and maybe they'll go to the keyboard and then maybe delete what they've just written, and they'll tell me about all this, and they'll say, do you realise it took me 8 months to contact you, or 9 months? Very common, very common thing that happens. So then we did some work and you began the course. How did you feel beginning the course? How was that?
On the first session?
Yeah.
The first session was fine because I wasn't anywhere near a motorway.
Exactly.
So it still felt nervous, because you're in with it's tuition, so you suddenly feel scrutinised for the first time since you pass your test, and you're nervous of messing up or somebody giving their opinion about your driving. But we learnt lots of things in just that first lesson.
I hope my scrutiny isn't so bad.
No, it's not at all. No.
You're not the first person to mention that. So then we did the driving bit, and we improved a few things to do with the driving, and we got onto the motorway. Yeah. Okay, how was that? I mean, that wasn't on the first session.
No, that was on session 2. That felt okay, because it felt just every step of this course has been to my timing. You've always given a choice. You've never said this is what we're doing now. You've always given an option. Would you like to do this or this? And I've always picked the hardest option, because that's my nature. And I'm here to get on with it. I don't see the point of not. But there was always an option, a more gentle option. Yes. Which I guess some people will.
It depends. Some people need a little bit of a push, but I gathered with yourself that it would be more productive to give you the option, knowing that you're just going to go ahead and take up the other option anyway. I don't think you ever went for the easy option. No. You was like, okay, we're going to do this. Yeah. And off we went. Okay, so you went through that, and were there any challenges? Were there anything that you found challenging on this course?
A lot of it it's been really challenging, because it's trying to undo something that's so ingrained. It's been 8 years of uncomfortable driving and dreading journeys, or half the journey being okay, but then it changing so quickly for no apparent reason. It can be on clear motorways that I've had real blind panic. where there's no apparent triggers. So it's challenging, but it's felt very well managed, and I've always known I'm safe.
Yeah. You've not been over challenged.
No, and I've always come away and I've thought, oh yeah, that was brilliant. It was a really positive session, and everything that we've done has felt at the right pace for me.
Good. Okay. And then you came today with a story about a long journey that you'd done, that you'd planned to do.
Yes.
And you did a long motorway journey. Mm-hmm. And how did the long motorway journey go?
It was the best drive I've had in a long time.
Good.
It's
because you seemed very happy when you got in the car.
Yeah, I felt. It was something I needed to do. It was going to see my parents after lockdown, so it's something I wanted to do. Yeah. But a few months ago, I knew I was going to have to do it, but I didn't feel confident about doing it.
Good. Because you talked to me previously about doing it, and the good thing is you actually followed the advice, which I wasn't sure whether you would, because again, getting to know you, I kind of knew what may have happened, but you followed the advice of take some breaks and break up the journey and make it more manageable for yourself. And even if you feel you're doing okay, still get into the services and still get out of the car and still walk around and take in the fresh air and relax and whatever. And you did actually do that, and that did help, didn't it?
It did, yeah. I was really tempted not to.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, this is the advice. So I gave myself an hour and said, right, after an hour, whatever services are next, you're stopping.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Okay, and today we did pretty long motorway journey, and we may be able to hear some sirens in the background. There's been some activity today, hasn't there? There's been some things going on. Yeah. We had to come off the motorway because there were some problems up ahead. Lots of police today, so lots of things happened. A truck pulled out in front of you. You got kind of almost wrapped up with quite a few other trucks previous to that as well, and that felt very uncomfortable for you as well. So how have you managed to cope with all that? What are the techniques you've used to cope with that?
It's using the checks.
Yeah.
The 9
questions that we're
questions going through those, reassuring myself.
They may be moving on to 10 questions very soon instead of 9 questions.
Reassuring myself that that I'm safe.
Yeah.
And that I will still feel those feelings.
Yeah.
But I'm still safe.
So it's okay to feel the feelings as long as you're in control, as long as you're doing the things you should be doing and looking at the things you should be looking at and paying attention to everything around you. Okay. So, I mean, the feelings will be there, but as long as they're manageable, as long as it's okay, as long as you can control them, as long as you're in control, that's all right, isn't it?
Yes.
And do you feel that those feelings will fade eventually with time?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's kind of what we're looking towards happening, isn't it? Okay. All right. So, is there anything, and I always ask this, but is there anything you'd like to say to anybody that's listening to this? Because you listen to some recordings, and somebody will be listening to this right now, going through very, very similar things. And you've heard some similar stories, haven't you?
Yeah.
So is there anything you give advice to anybody that's listening to this right now, thinking, I don't know whether I can do this, I don't know whether I should ring, I don't know if I should send that email, I don't know whether I can face this?
I listen to the stories, and you could practically insert my name into one of them in particular.
Yeah.
Everything about that was me.
Yeah.
So just make contact. Don't delay it, because I tried for years to not admit there was a problem, or to just manage it, and it doesn't work, and it just makes it worse.
Okay.
And it really is the best thing I've done. So just make contact and do it, because you can do it.
So, I can't see under the mask, but you look like you're smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Liam's help, you can do it. And if you're struggling, which if you've come to be looking for somebody like Liam to help you, then you are struggling. Then you need to just make contact.
Yeah. And it wasn't as scary as maybe you thought.
No, the thought is far worse than the reality. Yeah. It's never been a scary thing.
No.
In the instruction, you've made it very relaxed, very, very calm approach, very understanding.
Yeah, that was one of the things.
Put up with the tears.
that was one of the things you mentioned, the understanding bit. I think for yourself, specifically to yourself, that was very important. You really had to understand exactly what was going on, didn't you?
Yes.
And I think
I was just frustrated with myself. It felt really cross that why was I getting like this, and angry at myself.
And when you understood, things really changed, didn't it?
Yes.
That was your aha moment when you started to understand what was happening. Oh, that's why. That's why I was
making it worse.
Well, that's the reason this keeps happening.
Yes.
And and once we went through all those things started to change.
Yes.
So today's been a really good drive. So well done on that.
Okay.
I'm more than happy to say to you that I feel perfectly safe now. I think this is a really a good situation to be in. So well done on the big drive that you did, and well done on today's drive, even though we had all those exceptional circumstances, but you still dealt with them okay, didn't you?
Yep.
Okay, so do you feel you've got everything you need from this course?
I do.
Brilliant. Yeah. Okay, right. Thank you very much for that, and I hope that helps whoever's listening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.